Hi friends, today we're going to be learning how to count to a billion with a B in Spanish. Also at the end of the video we'll be discussing how even though in Spanish we have un billón, which sounds very similar to 1 billion, they are not the same thing. Let's do it! So from 0 to 15 we just have to memorize the numbers. So here they are. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. After that, from 16 on, we start to say 10 and 6, 10 and 7. However, we spell it as one word. So here we see 16. It's really 10 and 6, but we are spelling it as one word. So 16, 17, 18, 19. After that, 20 is 20. And then for the 20s, same thing. We are saying 20 and 1, 20 and 2, 20 and 3, but we are spelling it as one word. So 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. After that, 30 is 30. So from 30 on, we say also 30 and 1, 30 and 2, and so on, same for the 40s. However, we spell it now as three separate words. We spell it 30 y 1, 30 and 1. However, when we say it fast, we kind of say it very similarly. We kind of pronounce it as a single word. So we say 31, which sounds very similar to 21, 21, 31. However, we just have to remember to spell it as three separate words, 30 y 1. After that, 32, 33, etc. And for 40, 50, etc., we'll do the same thing. So 40 is 40, next one 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100 is 100. So for saying 85, 85. And when we say it fast, we say 85. For saying 67, 67. Or when we say it fast, 67. Here we have some examples. 37, 37. 43, 43. 54, 54. 65, 65. 79, 79. So 100 is 100, but after 100, for 101, 102, etc., we switch to ciento. And while in English we say 101, 102, in Spanish there is no and, there is no y. So 101 will be 101, spelled as two separate words. We just say ciento and whatever we have after. So 147, 147. 200 is 200 and 300 is 300. So we have a pattern here. We are saying dos and then the word cientos, and we are spelling it as one word. Same for 300, 300. 400, 400. However, 500 is irregular. The ones that have an asterisk are irregular, so it doesn't follow the pattern. It's not 500, it's 500. 600, it follows the pattern, 600. 700, 700. 800, 800. And 900, 900. So for saying 852, no and in Spanish. 852. So for thousands, 1000 is 1000, not 1 mil, just mil. Sorry, not uno mil or un mil or anything like that. It's just mil. So 2000, 2000, 3000, 3000. But again, don't forget that 1000 is just mil and not un mil. And then for millions, we have 1 millón, 2 millones, etc. For million, by the way, when we are talking about $1 million or 1 million cats or 1 million whatever, for million and only for million and on, for billion, trillion, etc., we have to say un millón de dólares. In Spanish, it's a million of dollars, un millón de dólares. We don't do that with hundreds or thousands, only with millions and after millions. So $800, $800, $8,000, $8,000, $8 million, we have to say it 8 millions of dollars, so 8 millones de dólares. So in most Spanish-speaking countries, we use periods instead of commas for thousands. We can see it in here. We use commas instead for decimals. Another option is instead of using periods here, we can use a space. That's also very common. And then hundreds from 200 through 900 have gender in Spanish. When we use them as adjectives, we can either keep them masculine, 416 gatos, for 416 cats, or make them feminine, 515 sillas. And then what I was saying before, we don't add any extra E when using hundreds. So for example, 457, in English we have the and, would be 457. We have the E that goes with 57, 57, but we don't add an additional E in here. So it would never be 457, just 457. So let's try to complete this little exercise together. We have to say the numbers. 203, that will be 203, not y3, just 203. This one is 100. This one, 101, 101. 459, 459. 523, 523. 333, 333. 999, 999. 2456, 2456. Again, not 2456, that's incorrect, 2456. 3521, 3521. 5001, 5001, not I1, 5001. 6023, 6023. 10,000, 10,000. So these ones here are years, because we have no period, we have no like separation for thousands. So in Spanish, and this is important, we can't split the years and say something like 1834 or 1995. We have to say the whole thing. So the year 1995 was the year 1995. So 1834 will be 1834. And as a reminder, we don't say un mil or uno mil or anything like that. 1000 is just mil. So 1834. 1743, 1743. 1999, 1999. 2004, 2004. 2013, 2013, we have to say 2013. 1200, we don't have any formula like 1200, we have to say 1200. 1200. 1131, 1131. Or saying it fast, 1131. 688, 688. 792, 792. So 1 million is un millón. 10 million will be 10 millones. 100 million will be 100 millones. But after that, in English, we switch to a billion or 1 billion. So we have a 1 followed by 9 zeros. It's the same as 1,000 million, but we don't call it 1,000 million in English. We call it a billion. In Spanish, we call that 1,000 million, mil millones. What we call 10 billion in English, we call that in Spanish 10,000 million, 10,000 millones. 100 billion, we call that 100,000 millones, 100,000 million. And then what we call a trillion in English, which is a 1 followed by 12 zeros, we call that un billón in Spanish. So here we have the entry from Wikipedia on billions, and it says billion is a word for a large number, and it has 2 distinct definitions. So 1,000 million, or 10 raised to 9, or 1 followed by 9 zeros, here we have 9 zeros, as defined on the short scale. This is now the most common sense of the word in all varieties of English. It has long been established in American English and has since become common in Britain and other English-speaking countries as well. So today in English, usually when we talk about 1 billion, we mean 10 to the 9th power, or 1 followed by 9 zeros. However, this one, what we call un billón in Spanish, 1 million million, or 10 to the 12th power, as defined on the long scale. This number is the historical sense of the word and remains the established sense of the word in other European languages. This is what happens in Spanish. We use this long scale. In English, though, even though it was used in Britain, it says here that it was common in Britain until the 1950s. Usually in English, both in the UK and in the US and in other English-speaking countries, when people say 1 billion, they mean this, 10 to the 9th power, the shorter scale. While in Spanish, un billón always means this number, a 1 followed by 12 zeros, or 10 to the 12th power. So that's it for today. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.